Good morning students, my name is Vijay Gupta and you are watching biology classes. So students, welcome in this class of biology. As we all know that currently I am making all my videos for my 12th students. They are going to face their board examination. So I decided to make all the important topics for your board examination. In this lecture, I will teach you about a new topic, that is DNA replication. In my last video, I told you about the structure and double helical model of DNA, but in this video, I will tell you about the DNA replication, which is an important topic for all my 12th students, all my entrance examination preparation student and BSc students also. So let's start the video. First of all, what is DNA replication, why it occurs and when it occurs? So I will tell you with an example. Suppose that it is a cell. And we all know that our body consists of numerous lots of cells, millions of cells, and each cell divided, and the phenomenon is known as cell division. So suppose that this is a cell, this is the nucleus, and it is the DNA which is present inside the cell. Now this cell is about to divide into two equal cells. So these are the cells and these are known as the daughter cells. So this is the mother cell which is going to divide, and these are the daughter cells. The process of cell division takes place, and in this process the DNA of the cell replicate, or it try to make its amount in double. So the DNA becomes double and distributed in both the cell in equal amount. So the requirement of DNA replication is each cell consists of the equal amount of the DNA. So it was the requirement of DNA replication. Now when it occurs? It occurs during the cell division, during the S phase of cell division. Now, what is DNA replication? First of all, about the definition, DNA replication. DNA replication is a biological process. DNA replication is a biological process of providing two identical DNA from a single original DNA. Suppose that it is the DNA. And we know that DNA is double helical. So it is the one strand of DNA and it is the another strand of DNA. Both the helix are separated. This is the one strand or the one helix, and this is the another strand. And these strands are known as parent strand. Now a new strand is formed in front of both the parent strand. These are known as new strand. So it is the new strand and it is again the new strand. So as you can see in the diagram, a single DNA molecule divided into two equal identical DNA, and this phenomenon is known as DNA replication. So DNA replication is a biological process in which an original DNA is divided into two equal DNA. So it was the definition, as you can see on the board. DNA replication is a biological process in which providing two identical DNA from a single original DNA. So it was the definition of DNA replication. Now there are some important points which are related to DNA replication. I am going to explain one by one. So the first one is duplication. Duplication, the word describes itself that to double something. So the duplication of DNA takes place by replication. So the replication is a phenomenon through which the DNA makes their copies, or it is also known as the duplication. Now the next one is it occurs during S phase of interphase of cell cycle. Cell cycle is a process which takes place during the cell division. So in the mitosis cell division, cell cycle is a particular process, and the cell cycle consists of different kinds of phase. Suppose that interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. During interphase, there is a phase which is known as S phase or the synthetic phase. During S phase, DNA replication takes place. So it is very important to know when DNA replication occurs. DNA replication occurs during the S phase of cell division. So it was the point number 2. Now the last one is there are three possible modes of DNA replication according to Crick. As we all know about the Crick, who is a scientist, F.C. Crick, who gave the double helical model of DNA. So according to Crick, the possible modes of replication may be of three types. Number 1, conservative. Number 2, semi-conservative. And number 3, dispersive. Now what is the meaning of these three terms? The first one is conservative. In this type of replication, there are two identical DNA are produced, in which one DNA consists of both the strand of a parent DNA while another consists both the strand of a new DNA. Now in semi-conservative, the two identical DNA consist of one strand of parent while one strand is newly formed. So in these two DNA, one parent strand and one new strand. As you can see, I changed the color of parent is red while the color of new strand is blue. So in these DNA, as you can see here, in these DNA, the method is semi-conservative, means the newly formed DNA consists of a parent strand while a new strand. So this type of DNA replication is known as semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Now the last one is depressive. Depressive means to mix with each other. In this type of replication, the daughter DNA or the daughter identical DNA are mixes as well as new strand and with the parent strand. So in this type of DNA, parent DNA and the new DNA are mixed. So these are the three possible methods of replication according to Crick. These are semi-conservative, conservative and depressive. After that, there are two important names, the scientists Michelson and Stahl. In 1958, they provide a strong evidence on the basis of their experiment on E. coli bacteria that the replication of DNA is semi-conservative. According to Crick, there are three possibilities: conservative, semi-conservative and depressive. But according to Michelson and Stahl, the replication of DNA is semi-conservative. Means what? When the replication occurs, the identical DNA consists of a single strand of parent DNA while another strand is newly formed. So this type of replication is termed as semi-conservative method of replication, and it was proved by the Michelson and Stahl in the 1958 by their experiment on E. coli bacteria. So these were some important points which are related to the DNA replication. Now I will tell you about the mechanism of DNA replication. So to understand the mechanism of DNA replication, here I made a diagram of DNA replication. So first of all, it is very important to understand the diagram. As we know that it is the DNA, and there are two strands which are present in the DNA. So these are the two strands of DNA. Okay. Now these are the strands. As you can see in this diagram is now the horizontal. I made here this diagram in a horizontal way. So you can see these are the parent strand and it is the DNA. So this is the diagram. These are the parent strand, as you can see in the diagram, and these are the newly formed strand. So you can easily understand with the help of this diagram what the DNA replication is. So there are some important points about the mechanism of DNA replication. The first one is how the DNA replication takes place. At first, the unwinding of the DNA strand takes place. So first of all, both the DNA strands becomes unwinded. They are closely attached with each other with the help of hydrogen bonds, we all know. So at first, the unwinding of the DNA strand takes place, and in this process there are two enzymes with the help of two enzymes. The first one is topoisomerase first, while the second one is topoisomerase second. Now what is the function of topoisomerase first? The topoisomerase first produce an initial cut known as replication origin. So suppose that it is the DNA, these are the hydrogen bond which are present between both the strands. So the topoisomerase first form an initial cut. This is the initial cut made by the topoisomerase first. So this initial cut is known as replication origin. Means what? Replication is about to start now and it occurs with the help of topoisomerase first. So the topoisomerase first produce a replication origin. So topoisomerase first produce an initial cut known as replication origin. After that, topoisomerase second melts the hydrogen bonds of the strand. As we know that hydrogen bonds are present between both the strands. So with the help of topoisomerase second, these hydrogen bond melts. So the topoisomerase second melts the hydrogen bond between both the helix. After that, another enzyme action takes place which is known as DNA helicase. Now the DNA helicase enzyme separate both the strand of the helix. As you can see in this diagram, these are the separated strand of DNA. So these separated strand occurs with the help of DNA helicase enzyme. So summarize these 3 points. The first one is topoisomerase first, which produce an initial cut in the DNA segment. The second one is topoisomerase second, which melts the hydrogen bond between both the strand, and the third one is DNA helicase enzyme, which separate both the strand or both the helix. Now after that, as both the strands separated, a coiling tension is generated that may be the cause of breakage or the breaking of the DNA fragments. So to avoid this, an stabilizing protein arises and attached with the DNA helix. As you can see in the diagram, I made these blue colored molecules, which is known as single stranded binding proteins. So to avoid the coiling tension, this protein stabilizes the DNA helix. So as you can see in this point, as both the strands separated, a coiling tension is generated. A coiling tension is generated that may be the cause of breaking of DNA fragments. It is possible that both the fragments breaks due to the coiling tension. So to avoid this, at the same time, SSBPs, a protein, that is single stranded binding proteins, attached to the DNA helix. As you can see here, it is attached to the DNA helix and providing stability to the DNA molecule, and that protein provide the stability to the DNA molecule. So it is also known as, hence it is known as the helix stabilizing protein. After that, both the strands of DNA are anti-parallel. Both the strands of DNA are anti-parallel. As we all know that there are some directions, like this strand, this parent strand consists the direction of 3-5-, while another consists of the direction of 5-3-. So this is the 3-5-, and this strand consists of 5-3-, means they both are anti-parallel. So both the strand of DNA are anti-parallel, in which the direction of one strand is 3-5-, while the another is 5-3-. As you can see in the diagram, the direction of this strand is 3-5-, while the direction of this strand is 5-3-. Now, new helix formed on the basis of these direction. These are the new helix. As you can see, this one is the leading strand and this one is the lagging strand, and both the strands are formed according to these directions. Suppose that the parent strand consists of 3-5-, so the new strand which form is 5-3-, maybe the opposite one. And in this strand you can see this is the 5-3- direction, and the new helix will form in the 3-5- direction, again opposite. So new helix formed on the basis of these directions. After that, DNA polymerase enzyme start the formation of a new helix in the direction of 5-3-. Now new helix are going to form. The first new helix is known as leading strand, which formed with the help of DNA polymerase enzyme, and it will form in the direction of 5-3-, and its parent DNA consists of the direction of 3-5-, while it has the direction of 5-3-. So as you can see, DNA polymerase enzyme start the formation of a new helix in the direction of 5-3-, while its parent DNA strand has the direction of 3-5-. It is very important to understand that the parent strand considers the direction of 3-5-, while the newly formed leading strand, which is formed by the DNA polymerase enzyme, have the direction of 5-3-, means the opposite direction. The next one is another strand, this strand forms continuously. This strand forms continuously, there is not any gap is present between the strand, so it forms in a continuous way, and it is known as leading strand, and the name of this strand is leading strand formed by the DNA polymerase enzyme. Now the second strand is going to make, so another strand synthesized in the direction of 3-5-. As you can see, another strand, this is the another strand, and it is formed in the direction of 3-5-, while its parent DNA consists of the direction of 5-3-. So another strand is synthesized in the direction of 3-5-, while the direction of its parent strand is 5-3-. You can see the direction of parent is 5-3-. It forms by the RNA primer. The leading strand was formed by the DNA polymerase, but the lagging strand is formed by another substrand, that is the RNA primer. So RNA primer will form the lagging strand. It forms in discontinuous way. It does not form continuously. It forms in the forms of small fragments. So this is known as a discontinuous way. So it forms in the discontinuous way. So it forms in the discontinuous way and it is known as lagging strand, and this strand is known as lagging strand. I repeat that this newly formed strand is known as lagging strand. It is formed by the RNA primer and it has the direction of 3-5' while its parent DNA has the direction of 5-3'. Now, this strand consists of small fragments known as Okazaki fragments. As you can see, this lagging strand is not present in a continuous way, it forms in discontinuous way, means it does not form a complete strand, it forms a small fragments, and these small fragments are termed as Okazaki fragment. Okazaki, the name of a scientist who discovered this fragment in the lagging strand, so the name is given Okazaki fragments. It is an important question for your examination that what are the Okazaki fragments. So you can answer the question that Okazaki fragments are the small fragments which are present in the lagging strand made by the RNA primer. Now after some time another enzyme will involved in this process, that is known as DNA ligase, which fills the gaps of these Okazaki fragment and complete the lagging strand. Now as you can see, after some time DNA ligase fills the gaps of the lagging strand, thus lagging strand completed. So as I told you before that it is the DNA ligase enzyme, as you can see in the diagram, it fills the gappings. So DNA ligase enzyme fills the gappings of the lagging strand or fills the gaps present between the Okazaki fragment. Now the lagging strand is completed with the help of DNA ligase enzyme. So the DNA ligase fills the gaps of lagging strand, thus the lagging strand is completed. Thus the two new strands are formed in both the direction. So the process is complete and there are two strands are formed in both the direction. The one is leading strand, another is lagging strand. Leading strand consists the direction of 5-3' and it is formed by the DNA polymerase enzyme, while the lagging strand consists the direction of 3-5' and is formed by the RNA primer, while it is completed with the help of DNA ligase enzyme. Now, the last point is, at the same time, a terminating binding protein stops the action of helicase enzyme. So it is very important to know that previously I told you about the helicase enzyme, which were separating the DNA segments, DNA helix. So it is very important to stop the action of helicase enzyme. So a protein which is known as terminating binding protein stops the action of helicase enzyme and the process of DNA replication is completed. So in this way a single DNA is can produce two identical forms of DNA and the process of replication is completed. So it was all about the replication. I hope everything is very clear to you. Still, if you have any type of confusion, any question, then you can ask in the comment section. I will try my best to reply you. So I will in the next video I will tell you in another important topic. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.